Bring them in, bring them in. Week 1 NFL DFS workshop Wednesdays. Shout out to OwnersBox. For some reason, they've watched these videos the last few years, and they have decided to sponsor us. First time ever we have sponsors on the channel. So shout out to OwnersBox. If you guys have never played or heard of OwnersBox Fantasy, we will have tons of OwnersBox content on the website this season for NFL. You can head to ownersbox.online, use promo code KARMA. Not only do you get a $500 deposit match, which is pretty much unheard of. Normally people cap that at $100, so you get $500 deposit match and a free entry into their $100,000 prize pool GPP for week 1, which I'm going to go on a limb and say probably overlays because it's like 11,000 people. So probably be some overlay in there. I'm going to be just dumping a ton of entries into that this weekend. So shout out to OwnersBox. We are back. I'm your host, Ben Hosser. I'm joined by Matt, a.k.a. Mig the Tig, and Sam, a.k.a. he doesn't have a nickname. He's just Sam. So it's the usual suspects, right? I mean, this is the dream team from the last few seasons. So we're going to break down all of week 1. We're going to talk position by position. We're going to talk pivots, chalk plays, some stacks, and roster construction at the end. And we're going to go ahead and dive right in here. Starting off at quarterback, Sam. Sam apparently has some crazy pivot at quarterback. So I'm going to start with you, Sam. First of all, what's your thoughts on the slate? How have you been? I haven't done a pod with you in forever. And then lead us into quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, things are pretty much, status quo. My internet's pretty bad. I'm traveling this week, so I won't be on the Sunday stream. So pretty normal stuff for me. The other normal thing is, it's funny, this slate is, we were just talking about this, and listening right before, how I feel like there's chalk condensing, as obviously with the soft pricing it does week 1 and everything like that. And it just leads to, I think, like one of the better tournament weeks. Now, I say that because I'll get smashed when all the chalk crushes, but there's a lot of, I think, spots to pivot where you're not really sacrificing that much, you know, mean projection or anything like that. But, if we're starting with cash, I know you guys have a couple options. I really think there's like one option, and it's Jalen Hurts. Like, I don't even need to talk about like multiple options. For me, it's just Jalen Hurts. I don't really need to talk about. I mean, everyone knows what his floor is, just so high because of the rushing and Detroit. Matt, shout out Detroit, dude. Hard Knocks, let's go.
I haven't
But
watched
yeah,
a single
Detroit still
episode. I
stinks.
hate them.
And oh, okay, first of all, let's make one thing clear. It's not cool to hate the Lions,
Matt's
but
the only guy in
it
Detroit that
also, the
didn't watch
documentary
Hard
being
Knocks.
good.
Mhm.
I know, it's like, yeah, it's like, what a hardo. But
Yep.
I do like Hurts, and I think that, as we saw all last season, I mean, again, it's not as big a sample size as other guys, but his floor is just so high, and obviously, the ceiling's there. And I think, again, this is a lot of what a lot of people will say week 1, including myself, is, I can only assume he's made strides to probably improve on what I still maintain he's much better of a fantasy quarterback than he is a real life quarterback, but we're playing a fantasy game. The only other guy I would consider, I don't even care about the hate I get. I think Jameis is totally in play if he obviously is fully healthy, but I still don't, have we seen, like, is he for sure starting? But I think if you wanted to go cheap quarterback, I don't think Jameis is a bad option, considering I don't really believe in Atlanta's D. But Ben, before my spicy take, you guys can give your other cash quarterbacks, because my other one's just so shocking to you that I need to wait for it.
Yeah, so first of all, you hit the nail on the head here. This is what the people come for. The people come for Sam's bad internet, and the people come
Mhm.
for Sam He's always
Mm-hmm.
traveling, and his internet
Mm-hmm.
stinks. I mean, these are stone locks
Mm-hmm.
to begin the season. So
Mm-hmm.
we're in mid-season form already. But yeah, Matt, I'll go over to you here and let
Okay.
you break it down. I know you've been
Thank
waiting. It's
you.
been a long off season. You're just waiting to fire these takes off. So I do think you and I are looking
Yeah.
at a few more people than Sam, like at least for like a main lineup. But I do agree, like Hurts is probably like the number 1 play. But yeah, break down quarterback for me.
Yeah, I've been deep in the week 1 woods for, I don't know, man, over a month. I've just been going hard at it. I a lot of my success last year was like from like week 8 on, when I have a ton of reliable data to use, and I have a really great system, and I was really happy with it. But then week 1, you don't have any sort of reliable data. Obviously, coaching changes, scheme changes, player changes. But the best week of my career was a week 1. over six figures. And what I did was I had, like what Sam alluded to, I had real conviction on plays that I knew were going to be really low owned, but just trying to use the concept of being early on something. So, for example, this is not like sneaky at all, but like maybe being early on the Kevin O'Connell offense in Minnesota, being early on the Brian Dable effect and the Giants. Yeah, I mean there's chalk, right there. But I'm just saying, as an example, being early on something. There's better examples throughout the show that I'll mention, but that's what I'm trying to do. So anyways, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but basically I that's what I'm looking to do. Again, we just don't have enough data to use based on, decent sample size of 8-10 weeks of football. So you got to go on other things. So as far as the quarterback pool, you're right. I mean, I do think that Ertz is the clear top play. I'm going to be playing him in cash. I probably only play 20 to 25% cash, but I'll be happy to play him in my main lineup as well, which is a lot of high dollar, small entry, small field size stuff. But there's no question I'm going to have some exposure to some other guys. So right now I'm looking at Joey B lineup. Not even a double stack with a bring back, that whole move. I'm just, stacking them with Chase, which we'll talk about later. If Ronnie Stanley suits up at left tackle for the Ravens, I'm definitely going to be interested in some Lamar Jackson on the road at the Jets. I think that just such a condensed target tree that he has to look at between Andrews and Bateman, and but they're almost at a 26-point team total there. So I mean, I'd be looking at some Jackson, some Kyler if we get both Rondale and Hollywood Brown, and then only one I mean, I don't want to say it because it's like, oh God, but Kirk Cousins, man, that's my kind of not gross take, but again, I think a lot of people are going to play some JJ, and that's fine. But I think if this Kevin O'Connell offense really does like pass to set up the pass, like they did in LA, I think not many people are actually going to be playing Kirk with Thielen and Jefferson. So I think that's something that is viable. Pretty good front seven on Green Bay. I could see them having a little bit of trouble in the run game. So those are my main focuses as of now, as Sam is groaning about the Cousins pick.
I think we already lost Sam. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, dude.
Oh, okay. He's back. He's back.
Ben. I'm cutting you off only because he actually took I'm actually all in on Kirk this week.
No, that was not a bad groan. It was a good groan.
Honestly,
yeah, I love Kirk too. We're in
alignment.
It's
because I honestly yeah, it's because you have these games where I think Philly, Detroit will be this really chalk game, which is always interesting with a bad team. But I think the chalk spots are obvious in the Philly, Detroit to an extent, and then KC, Arizona, Chargers, Raiders. But me included, normally no one wants to play the Vikings, but you're rid of that Dusty Zimmer, and you have these really good weapons. I mean, Thielen, I guess, could classify as dust, but he's still decent. And Rodgers has to throw the ball to someone, so you have to keep. I mean, I know they don't play that fast, but I just think that Minnesota at home in a dome. I mean, I think that this is a really good quote unquote sneaky. It's not going to be sneaky, but shootout. But I think Kirk is a great tournament option. I mean, again, I think we all know it's Herbert, Lamar, Joe Burrow. These guys are studs, and all these other guys. And I think that Kirk, I don't think he'll be that owned just because. I mean, Matt, what would you? I would say in cash he'll be mega chalk, but I would see Jalen Hurts could easily be 20 to 25% owned in tournaments.
Depends on the field size. I think small, medium to smaller size.
Soft pricing, maybe less, I guess. But I'm just saying, Kirk, I don't see Kirk getting over 5.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, dude, well, whatever. Yeah. So Ben, I want to hear your take. You actually are on Kirk as well. Which, by the way, Thielen is third in the NFL in touchdowns the last 2 years. I mean, call him dust wherever you want. I mean, he's getting older, but dude, I mean, he's such a weapon in the red zone.
Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of talked about it being early on this offense, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like you and I are the Kirk guys on this podcast anyway. Sam is new to the club this year. Normally, he hates on us when we bring up Kirk, but I do think they're going to throw more.
Spartan's brother.
Yeah, and it's one of the better games. I mean, it's not anything up to
Go ahead, Ben.
the other. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's not up to the other two late games like Chargers, Raiders, or Chiefs, Cardinals, but it is one of the higher over unders. I do think they're going to throw a lot, and obviously, we like to stack the quarterbacks that we kind of know where the ball is going to go. Right. That's why you like to stack Burrow, Matt, because you know he's going to throw it to Chase, he's going to throw it to T Higgins, and Kirk Cousins is going to throw it to Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. So I do think that's a really good play for tournaments. I'm kind of with Matt. I think Lamar, it should. I'm gonna play Hurts over him most likely. I haven't made any lineups, but I do think Lamar is in play. One, he crushes when they win games, and they should win that game. Um, I don't think he's gonna get a deal done by Friday, like by the sounds of it. So you've kind of got this whole contract year narrative. I could see him just having a huge season. I think he's gonna run more, especially with Dobbins like uncertain to start the year. Gus Edwards is on the pub. Like they really just have Mike Davis and Kenyon Drake. So I think he's going to run a lot. So I think Lamar is a very good play as well. And then the other that Chargers game, the Chiefs game, like you can play those guys for sure like that. We don't need to come in here and tell you that. You guys know that. But I think the one guy you guys didn't mention, I'm not going to like play him in tournaments, I don't think. But I think you want to play Hurts and cash, but he is in the cash conversation just because he's going to run as Trey Lance. But I don't know if you need like that 800 on a slate like this because there's so much value going around. But I do think like it's worth mentioning. Like as we approach the weekend, I could see like Lance's ownership raising up a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to be decently owned. I just don't love. I don't love it, man. Well, I like that game for
Matt,
other
I
reasons.
agree. That game, yeah, but that game is
horrible, but
weird. That's
yeah.
a weird game. I could see such a. I mean,
They're going to be careful
just
with
such
Trey,
a
man.
small.
I think they're
I
going to
agree.
like try to
That's
not,
exactly what I was
yeah.
gonna say. Completely agree.
Like they're not going to hide him
Yeah.
per se, but like man, they know they can win with Jimmy G, right? And they thought he was gone, but he's back. And they know that they can win games with Jimmy G at quarterback, but they don't want to look stupid. I think they're gonna when they get in the red zone, they're gonna be running the ball with running backs. They're not gonna be letting Lance come out in RPOs and run around the edge. I think it's just they're gonna be careful with it.
Yeah. So overall, I don't want to say straightforward. I like your call on Burrow because I think I was kind of talking to Anthony about this. There's not a ton of good games, right? For it being week one because like a couple of the best games are on prime time, so they're not on this slate. So really, there's only 4 games I would say that like look really really good off the start. So I think like just getting someone like Burrow that has upside, even if the over under isn't super crazy, I think is definitely a good move. And like I said, where the ball's going. So I like that call. I'll have to play around with it. I don't know how many lineups I'm going to play in general. And then I'll just bring up Jameis Winston, who Sam talked about a little bit, but he's really cheap on OwnersBox, and it's super flex. You can play 2 quarterbacks. So that's someone I would be looking at there. We can probably move over to running back. Matt, I'm going to start with you here. You're the richest of us 3, so you can break down running back a little bit for me.
What does that have to do with anything?
I felt bad. Like I should have started with you off the rib because
Correct.
he has the highest net worth. But Sam was like, I got this spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Sam came in with I got the spicy quarterback take, and it's the quarterback that you and I also like. So it actually wasn't that spicy.
Yeah, Matt just. Well, you guys are dicks. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought it was going to be maybe because of my DFS acumen, but okay, we'll just talk net worth. But anyway,
it's definitely not. No, it's definitely not that. Yeah, it's definitely not that.
I had okay, I'm not going to pat my own back on the year I had last year, but whatever. Results will speak for themselves. Yeah, scoreboard, baby. So, anyways, on running back position, yeah. I do have some weird takes. I think week one is a week that you can get weird with running back situations. A nasty old reference, but in 2015, I won like 100 plus playing Chris Ivory, who had 2 touchdown game. I mean, there's these opportunities, little spots where if you can get a 2-tutty game out of a kind of a nasty play based on a lot of different factors, I mean, that's something that you can go, use your conviction on. So I'll just kind of go down. Yeah, obviously Saquon's probably going to be the chalk of the week. I think that's, him and probably Christian McCaffrey are right up there in the top 3, at least on ownership. Obviously, we all know a new, better offense with Brian Dable coming to the Giants, a little bit better of an offensive line situation. Harold Landry going down, all pro outside linebacker and run stopper and edge rusher, everything is now out for Tennessee. So that kind of helps that that situation a little bit. Obviously Saquon's, supposedly fully healthy. He certainly wasn't really back last year. Obviously he's an all-world talent, but mostly it's because it's just a stupid price. I mean, 6,100 is just stupid. It's not the greatest matchup. It's not the best team total, but it's just, you kind of have to play it. That is chalk that I think I am going to eat this week. I kind of gone back and forth on it. Christian McCaffrey, we'll see. A lot of my builds, I'm not going. I just think that this week a lot of people are going to go for CMC or JT, and I get it. JT and CMC are elite, but I think you can poke holes in both of them. And I kind of want to zig when other people zag. I kind of want to go with high price wide receivers this week. I want to spend down at running back in general. There's a lot of talk about Nyheim Hines from Frank Reich this offseason. Not that they're going to be down and needing to be passing a lot against Houston, but I would, just as a point of comparison, I'll just give you one example. Compare JT to, believe it or not, Eli Mitchell. They're not that different week one if Eli truly is healthy. Now he's been back to practice for 1 week off his hamstring. He's got a whole nother full week to get right. They're both touchdown favorites against literally bottom 3 defenses in Chicago and Houston.
Hey Ben,
awesome,
Ben, can you clip that? Ben thinks that Matt thinks that Eli Mitchell
yes,
and Jonathan Taylor are the same player.
Week 1.
So just make sure.
Not the same player,
Yeah,
but the plays are not that different. The plays, not the players, the plays. They're not that different, dude.
No.
They're awesome.
No. You said they're the exact same player, that's what
I did not say that. I said they're
Oh,
not that different of
yeah.
plays. Clip it if you want, man. But
Okay.
again, awesome O-lines, horrible defenses, workhorse running back as far as first, second down. I think Eli might even have more third down showings than JT does, with Nyheim Hines coming out. So I just think that that's an example where literally Eli Mitchell's going to be 1 to 3% owned. And no one's going to be shocked with that awesome run scheme that Shanahan has. If he goes dude, only one player had more 100-yard rushing games last year than Eli Mitchell. It was Jonathan Taylor. He had one more game of 100 yards or more. It's one of those situations where I can play Eli, everyone can play JT, and I'm not saying it happens a huge percentage of the time, but there is it's a non-zero chance that he equals or even outscores JT. I mean, it's truly non-zero. Beyond that, I actually like AJ Dillon, so I'm kind of going on a quads theme between say quads and Quadzilla AJ Dillon. They've been coming on more and more with AJ Dillon and less on Aaron Jones. The talk is all on Aaron Jones. If you look at all the splits when you take out Devontae, yes, he gets more passing work. I get it. Minnesota has a pretty brutal rush defense. They came onto him more and more last year. Aaron Jones was out for a little while. From I think it was 12 to 17, so last 5 weeks, AJ Dillon had 9 red zone touches to 3 for Aaron Jones. I totally see AJ Dillon in a game where they want to kind of control the game. They have receiver depth issues. Maybe Lazard doesn't play, where AJ Dillon maybe gets a few catches. Aaron Rodgers says he thinks they can both get 50 catches this year between Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. I think he gets all, if not most, of the red zone look. He can get in for 2 touchdowns. I totally see that happening. So I'm getting a little weird with running backs. I'm looking at guys like Eli Mitchell, AJ Dillon, even Chase Edmonds. If this groin thing is not too serious, I'm looking at that. So I know these are not consensus plays. Yes, I like Austin Eckler. I like some of the more traditional plays too. But for my unique plays I'm actually looking at, it's literally Dillon, Mitchell, Edmonds, some of those kind of off the beaten path plays.
All right, Sam, before I go to you, I'm glad that you brought those guys up, Matt, because I was going to ask you, I kind of like Mitchell too. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I mean, the Bears lost.
Oh yeah, me
guys.
too. Dude. I only troll Matt. We have the same opinion. Whenever we have the same opinion, I troll Matt.
The Bears lost guys on the D line.
Not shocked.
The Niners should be winning.
By the way, don't glaze past that. They lost Akeem Hicks, Goldman. They lost Khalil Mack. They lost 3 out of their 4, man.
Yeah, and those are like Akeem Hicks in particular. I mean, it's known a run stopper, right? So I do kind of agree. So, but I was going to ask you specifically, but you kind of just nailed it anyways. But there's some guys in that 5 to 6K range. There's 5 guys I think you could make the case for. You have Travis Etienne, you have AJ Dillon, who you talked about, Eli Mitchell, who you talked about, Miles Sanders. I don't really think you want to play him, but he is in consideration in that same range. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is in that same range. Chase Edmonds is in that same range. There's a lot of guys in that 5 to 6K range. So I kind of agree. Barkley is the chalk play him in cash, but Definitely don't have to play him in tournaments. And you could like grab 2 of those guys in that 5 to 6 range, and I really don't think it's like that bad of a
So what do you
idea, to be
guys? Yeah,
honest.
let's talk. What do you guys think about Edmonds? I mean, I think there's like the groin thing just popped up. It's kind of weird, but the way I see it, I mean, he was the only running back that they sat for the last preseason game. They cut Sony Michel. They signed him on day one of free agency. They paid him a shitload of money. He's really talented at the outside zone run scheme that they have there now with Mike McDaniel. He can catch out of the backfield. But what's tripping me out is like I guess McDaniel just got quoted saying the goal is to rush the ball 30 times a game. Then I'm like, okay, well, obviously Edmonds is not getting 30 carries. So are we talking Mostert
Oh
getting
no.
20?
Oh,
Yeah,
And then I'm worried,
like
Tyreek Hill, dude, is Tyreek Hill going to get the Debo role and like run it out of the backfield 4 times a game as well? Like, I don't know.
I was about to say, what did I text
I don't think
you?
so.
What did I text Matt in our group chat? Like that was like over the weekend. I was like, Matt, because Matt was like really on Edmonds at that point, and I was like, Matt's gonna till this face off when Jalen Waddle has 6 carries in the first half. Now, Waddle's been
Right.
kind of banged up. I don't know who's gonna get the carries, Waddle, Hill, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I do think they're gonna run the ball a lot. So I agree. Like I like Mitchell more than Edmonds for sure. I like ETN more. I like Dylan more. I like Clyde more. I think like he's
Okay.
probably like 5th, to be honest, like in that range. Like
Sam, you hate the Evans play? Safe to say?
No, it's funny. I was shocked that Ben mentioned because Clyde is interesting. I don't think Clyde is that amazing, but he is such a classic example of just the absolute easiest pivot off what'll be a very chalky Chiefs passing game. And he's still in
True.
the same high total game and he still has, touchdown upside. And so I think Clyde is interesting for that. Matt, I was only going to say was I think I like AJ Dillon as well. I mentioned this a lot last year, and this week might not be the same, but Aaron Jones is always overpriced. I don't know why DK does this. At least maybe it's just my opinion, but he's basically priced for like a stealing game. But obviously
Hmm.
those don't happen all the time, and so he's rarely that high owned. But I like playing him in tournaments more often than not because he does have like a 3 touchdown game in him a couple
Yeah,
times, like
he
maybe a
does.
couple times a year. I mean, he'll fail a lot, but I'm just saying without I mean, I'm not going to be the guy. I did see some tout.com site saying to play Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon in the same lineup, which I thought was a little
Okay.
bit funny.
I
But
mean,
I think like that, I thought that was a little silly. But I'm just saying, like, without Devontae Adams, obviously some of these, even if it's a little more, but not a ton, like, some of these pass work has to go somewhere. So I think
mhm.
Jones, I was shocked that neither of you guys mentioned. I'm normally the most anti Derrick Henry guy ever, but I think he's going to get squeezed because I agree with what Matt said, where I think, I mean, first of all, everyone should be playing Christian McCaffrey. If he's not 30% owned, like we have leverage because I don't know what we're doing here because his
Yeah.
floor is insane. But and I
Mhm.
get all these plays, but like Derrick Henry, like I hate him because he burns me more often than not. But I mean, like we all know what he can do, and the Giants' defense is not good.
I
So
know.
I mean, he has like tournament. He is. I mean, he's the. I mean, Matt, he's the guy I think a couple times a year where I, open the app at 1:42 p.m. and I'm like, oh, good,
I know.
slate's over. Derrick Henry's run for 180 yards in the first half, and so he's the only guy I
Mhm.
thought was mentioned. But I think Matt nailed it. The only guys you guys are not with me, but I'm gonna play Kamara for sure. I don't know why no one wants to play Kamara. I
No, it's a good play,
think
man.
that's a
It's
little
not
bit
a
shocked.
bad play at all. I'm just such a weirdo, like paranoid about Mark Ingram, man. I told you about that. Like the coaches love
Oh,
putting the
I
ball
hate
in his
his
belly and
guts.
watching it. I
I know.
know. I
I don't
don't
know what it
know.
is. No, I completely agree. Kamara
Taysom
could be
Hill
like
is what Ben
averaging
mentioned.
13 yards a carry, and they'd be like, we gotta get
I know.
Ingram involved. It's
And
crazy.
dude, by the way, the Taysom Hill thing
Yeah.
it's not done yet. It's literally not dead yet. And
Um,
that's what Ben said in the group chat. He's like, yeah, then Taysom Hill, tilts your face off too.
it's never done.
yeah, I think
You're on Derrick Henry. You're right, dude. Giants
I
were
know.
dead last DVOA
I
versus the
don't think
run
you're a big
last year.
Matt. Are you a fan? Do you like any?
Go ahead. What's up?
Yep. Yeah, I think they average like. I mean, they on average give up 27, 28 points a game. No, I was gonna say, do you like Antonio Gibson at all?
yeah, I was about to ask the same thing. Because I think we're in agreement. JT McCaffrey are gonna be super chalky. Look at those guys in cash, whatever. Matt and I mean, Sam talked about Kamara, but Matt and I kind of seem on the same page. That 5 to 6K range looks really good. But I was gonna ask about Gibson. You know, at home against Jacksonville, no Robinson, obviously. Ron Rivera came out and said, "Oh, I'm going to give him the ball." I don't really care what Ron Rivera says. Like, I don't know if I believe him, if I don't believe him. Like it's just the fact of Robinson's not there now. He is probably going to get the ball at least for these first couple weeks while Robinson's out. So, what is your take on Gibson?
Yeah, I mean, it's you kind of balancing different ideas and narratives. Like on one hand, that guy was on like kick return team, dude. Like they were literally ready to move on from him and give the keys to a rookie and Brian Robinson that they just saw for a month and a half, and until he had the unfortunate situation. So it's like I get that they might just say, up, okay, well here's the ball anyways, and kind of we'll see what you can do. But like I don't know, man. They were prepping for week one for a while with Robinson in mind, with JD McKissick in mind. And I think I'm not excited to play him. And here's the thing. If it's like becoming the sneaky, not sneaky play, man. Like early ownership looks have him at like top 5 owned running back. Like if that's really the case, like
Yeah.
zero chance I play him if that's the case.
Yeah, I have him at like 13 or 14% when I updated our ownership
See,
an
that's
hour
that.
ago.
That's what I'm
And no, I
saying.
agree.
Okay,
I agree. He's
That,
not a good
that's
chalk play.
such a
Yeah, I
pass.
mean,
That is such a pass.
it's a tough one because it's kind of like you said off the top. It's like you said off the top, Matt. It's like a tough one because it's so true about what they were going to do, just kind of replace him with Robinson. But it's like you look at his underlying usage from last year. Like, yeah, McKissick is infuriating when he takes like these goal line stuff, but his usage was there. And I like Gibson, but I agree it doesn't. They didn't seem to have a ton of conviction in
the
him,
problem is he fumbled
and
the
it was
most.
chalky.
He fumbled the most in the NFL, and Rivera is such an old school guy. I mean, Gibson fumbles, he's done. And there's a fair chance he does. I mean, he fumbled it the most last year, and so I just think that just weird risks there. I'm staying away for sure. By the way, I'm also staying away from Najee Harris. Like he's looking at like decent ownership as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mixon is
that's literally a
too.
bottom
I
three
don't
O
want
line.
to. I'm not interested in that
Yep,
game really,
yep.
other
It's kind
than.
of like It's like Belichick. Yeah,
I'm not interested in that game really, other
yeah.
than like a Cincy stack maybe, and then I don't know. You could make the case for one of the Pittsburgh guys maybe, but Mixon's kind of popping too for ownership, Matt. I mean, I just looked at it. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't mind. I don't
he's
mind
like
messing.
top four or
I
five.
think Mixon. I think Mixon is the quote unquote GPP pivot that's not sneaky. I think everyone's going to go to Mixon. I think people are inherently worried about
Mhm.
Joe Burrow having an appendectomy like 6 weeks ago, even though that doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't think Mixon's. I'm normally not a Mixon guy because I think his upside is limited sometimes. But their O line. Now that's another thing. It's like we talked at the top. I mean, I think I heard this on a podcast like a couple days ago. It's like, okay, so like since these O line should be better, like what does
A
that mean?
lot better.
Does that mean like
Mhm.
does that? But I'm like I agree, but but it's like does that mean they go from, I'm just making up numbers, but does that mean they go from bottom 5 to okay, they're way better, but they're still like the 18th best O line, or are we talking they're like a top 10? 'Cause I would say they're probably not a top 10 O line. So it's not like he goes, from his O line to Brady's from last year. It's not
Yeah.
that that
So
extreme.
with Burrow, no one was sacked more in the NFL than Burrow last year. He also set an NFL record for sacks taken in a single playoff run. And he's going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which led the league in sacks last year. However, in the two, in division matchups that he had with Pittsburgh last year, he got sacked 2 times and then 0 times. So you're talking about those sacks
Throttled.
given up. Yeah.
Throttled.
What's that? Say what? I don't know. I think there's a good delay on Sam. But I mean, think about that. They schemed it pretty well to give up. Dude, the only game that he didn't
Oh,
get
sorry. I
sacked of
said
was
like,
once last year.
oh no, sorry. I wasn't interrupted. I was just saying, I was just, sorry. I was laughing at
Sam is in
Cincy
mid-season
throttling.
form over here. I mean, I can't see this guy's camera. I mean,
I can't even talk. Yeah, I don't even see him.
he's
I'm trying to talk here.
disastrous. It's disastrous.
He's just the worst.
He's
All
the
right, so let me
worst.
just finish my fucking thought. Just shut up. All right. So the only game in which he didn't get, I mean, dude, they didn't give up a single sack against Pittsburgh the first time. Second game to give up, I think it was a two. Was it two? Yeah, 2 sacks. I mean, they schemed against it. Their offensive line got better, markedly better. Whether they're top 10 or top 20, I don't know. I mean, they're definitely better. They schemed pretty well. They passed like nonstop. I like the Burrow play. And Mixon, I don't mind, but I like the passing side.
Yeah, I agree. Sam, if you're in here, I don't know, refresh your page or something. I don't know if this guy There,
Dude, I'm here. I stopped
okay.
talking because
He's
you guys were so mean.
No, well, your camera.
Oh, there he is.
Your
We can see him now.
I couldn't
Yeah,
even
your
see you.
camera's off,
He just started talking, but his
This is week
face wasn't there.
one.
I was like, what is going on here? All right, so we're gonna move. We're gonna move to wide receiver. I'm gonna start off here. So, okay, I think I don't know. I have a group of guys that I like a lot at receiver. So I'm gonna leave the Rondale Moore talk for Matt because I know he likes him. I think for me, I haven't built any lineups yet. But I think for like a cash game perspective right now, I'm probably not going to use Rondale Moore. I just don't think I need him, and there's someone else I like in that range, which I'll talk about. But I think at the top,
No one does.
Yeah, at the top in terms of projected ownership, you're gonna have Michael Pittman Jr. up there. You're gonna have Rondale's gonna be up there. I think Hollywood Brown will be up there. Juju, like the guys in that game. I think Justin Jefferson will be up there. And I think Chase might get up there as well just because there's so much value. I think it's easy. Like we just talked about, 7 guys priced around 5,500 at running back you can play. You're going to be able to spend up on receivers if you want. So I do think Jefferson and Chase could get steamed as we head to the weekend. But overall for me, I really like Hollywood Brown. I like Michael Pittman Jr. for like cash games. Those are guys I would focus on. I like for tournaments, I like Amon-Ra St. Brown a little bit if you're playing the Hurts, like if you want to stack Hurts. And I think it's just a good spot for him anyways. I'd rather attack the Eagles over the middle of the field than on the outside. And then the guy I like for cheap, and it depends if Allen Lazard plays or not, but if he's out, you can talk me to some Sammy Watkins because the universe knows one thing, and it's that Sammy Watkins goes off in week 1. It happens all the time, and now the stars are aligning. Like Lazard's gonna miss. Like if Sammy Watkins will routinely go off in week 1 and then do nothing for the entire rest of the season. It happens like every year. So the stars are aligning for Sammy Watkins in week 1, and he's 4,700. If Lazard is out, I like him more than Rondo.
Okay, and what's Sammy? What's his price? That's how much I've paid attention
It's
to.
too high.
4,700. 4,700.
Way
47.
too high.
Oh, that's funny, dude. You that's so. Oh, we're gonna have a good time when it's my turn at receiver.
All right, Sam, go first because like who knows, like your internet will probably go out or something, and then we can just let Matt talk. So tell me how wrong I am.
No, well, I mean, I don't need to tell you I'm wrong. Sammy Watkins is like really bad, but my favorite. I mean, I guess he's getting some ownership. I love DJ Moore. I mean, season long and this week. I think DJ Moore is underpriced. First, I know he had a terrible year last year. Who knows if Baker is dead still, but I think DJ Moore is an awesome play in terms of maybe he'll get a little less ownership because people play CMC, but his percent of air yards last year was crazy. And right above him, I know he's not going to be unowned, but I know everyone's obsession with Jamar Chase. He's a stud. His ceiling's insane. He can go for like 9 touchdowns and 800 yards. But T. Higgins saw more targets on average than Jamar Chase. Just saying. So that price gap of 1,000, I think is a little crazy. I think T. Higgins is. I mean, I know he doesn't possess the same 50-point ceiling, but I think he's an elite play. I think I was going to say, Ben, I think you're right on about the cash stuff. I could honestly see, just based on my ownership stuff I have, I could see people just playing literally Pittman, Rondale Moore, and pick another mid-price guy and just going over which in turn makes me like exactly what Matt says is going the opposite, going cheaper running back and going up at receiver. Because I just is Devontae Adams really about to be like 10% owned? Like, what are we doing? It doesn't really matter.
Oh, I mean, maybe less.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually.
No, I mean,
I think it'll be way less. Honestly, I think if anyone plays an expensive receiver, it'll be like Jefferson, Chase. Like I don't think Devontae will be high owned at all.
There's probably no J.C. Jackson, by the way, week 1.
I just saw that too. That makes me that I'm not going to pull an Anthony and say lock, but it is a very good play. I will say, I mean, him being chalk, it sucks that Kadarius Toney is chalk because I would have liked to play him. I will refuse to play him at like 20% ownership, but I think that, I mean, that's just silly. But I don't know. I just think there's a lot of guys. I mean, I don't know how owned he'll be. I'm not sure if you guys have seen. I mean, I don't think Christian Kirk is a terrible tournament play. I think we know his floor is basically 0, but I think he has a good ceiling. And I also I mean, he'll be popular, but even if he's popular, Juju Smith at 5,200 is a little silly.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
did you
that's
did you see what Mahomes
he
said
should
today
be.
Hmm.
about
Yeah,
like?
he said good. He said he apologized to fantasy
No,
managers
but what I
because
do need someone to explain to me is
yeah.
when I was driving yesterday, why the Chiefs line moved from 3.5 to 6.
Okay, well the Chiefs are gonna win that game because the Cardinals they're banged up on D already. So that would be why the line moved, I think. But
Dude, that was your name, not
Ertz
mine.
didn't
Actually, I had
practice.
completely.
JJ Watt is unlikely to play.
yeah, they're
Basically,
they're basically
oh,
their second best DB is out, and then Watt looking like game time decision. Ertz I think will play. If he doesn't, that would open up maybe like a tight
And
end.
they're
But Sam's dude, I'm done with Sam. His camera's going again. But Matt, I'm gonna let you talk here. I do want to mention though, you sold me on the Mike Williams over Keenan Allen over the weekend
so
when
what
we were
I'm.
talking. So I do agree. I really like Mike Williams. So Matt, I'm gonna let you talk about receiver here a
okay.
little bit.
Yeah. Real quick, just to finish the thought on what Patrick Mahomes said. I mean, so when I
All I
saw
heard
that,
from Matt.
go ahead,
Sam,
Sam.
it's Matt has the what is it called? The like when you pass around a
I'm
token at
done.
like a
I'm done.
campfire, and then whoever's
Hmm.
holding the token is
I'm
allowed to
going mute
talk.
the rest. I'm going mute the
Yeah,
rest of the
yeah,
podcast.
yeah. Matt's
That's
turn
just
to
there's.
talk.
It's like, what year is it? Is it
he's
like
he's worse than AC.
what the fuck, man?
It's
No,
crazy.
dude, I got like the projection stuff up. I got, APIs running in the background. I mean, I can't, sorry, I can't afford Matt's internet.
You gotta
Okay.
you gotta figure it out over there, man.
I mean,
I think it's
for
my build. I mean,
Christ.
my building said we're going. My building said we're going through some upgrades. Maybe we're mid upgrades.
Yeah, upgrades, right? Okay. All right,
It's
Matt.
hard out there, man.
Break down receiver for me. Let me know
Dude,
who you're
I'm so on
playing.
tilt. Dude, like literally Sam is putting me on so much tilt right now,
I
dude.
can see
I,
the frustration, but it's all right. We're gonna power through.
I,
This guy, like I said, this is
I
what the
hate
people
him
come
so
for. This
much.
is
I'm
what the
just
people
repeating
come
myself.
for. They live for it,
Anyways,
and we're
can
just
I
gonna grind through it.
for the third time I'm gonna start the sentence. If I can't finish, I'm done. I'm turning my computer. Okay. When Mahomes said, I apologize to fantasy managers here because it's not going to be Travis and Tyreek every game. It's going to be someone different every week. I actually think that'll freak enough people out to get off of some of the Kansas City players. But if you think about it, who cares? We already knew that when Tyreek left and they started doing legitimate signings of other real players. I mean, they used to just have literally Travis and Tyreek. And I had a bunch of like jabronis and like Hardman and Robinson, a bunch of bums. Now they brought in Juju, they brought in MVS, who's legit, and he's paid by far the most of any receiver. So they have, and then they drafted Sky Moore. So they have a lot of pieces, but that's still our job is to figure out who's the best pick. I mean, it doesn't change anything the fact that Mahomes said that. But anyways, I'm going to lead right into one of my favorite plays. I came on it about 2 days ago, and I do think it's real. Whenever I find a play that I think I like, I do like a cooling period for like say a couple days. I'm like, wait, do you really like this guy? Or are you just like thinking you got a little fancy? I think in my main lineup, I'm going to be playing Marquez Valdez Scantling. And just stay with me for a second.
Philosophy.
They brought this. I know, but just stay with me. They brought this guy in. They paid him a $30 million contract, 3x what they're paying any other receiver. And Juju has like a 1,400-yard season under his belt. This guy's a 4.3 burner, 6'4", 10-inch hands plus. And the first thing they said about him when they signed him is that we want him running a full route tree for this guy, not just a go route. Because in Green Bay, he only had to just run fast and straight because they had Devontae freaking Adams to run every route in the world. They had talented running backs, so they didn't want him to do anything else. If you look at the tape, if you look at what he's done in camp and OTAs and preseason, the guy's running a lot of intermediate routes. He's gotten red zone looks for touchdowns. Again, he's that big body guy that they never had at receiver before ever. They only had Travis. Travis is getting older. I think it's 4 straight years of losing snap share as far as percentage of routes run. I do think that MVS gives you the unique deep threat ability with, yes, I'm buying the intermediate stuff as well. I think it's going to shock people. This is also the best matchup for the entire year for the deep ball for Patrick Mahomes. This is by far the worst combination of O-line versus D-line that they're going to see all year. And now JJ Watt might not play. They're in a dome with perfect conditions. Their second best corner might be out. They defend the tight end really, really well with their unreal safety duo. I think this is going to be their best possibility for the deep ball all year long. This KCO line is literally a top tier O line. They're bringing back all 5 starters from last year. They did a great job protecting Patrick last year. I think they want to put some tape out there week 1 to respect MVS. So I know it sounds out there, it sounds a little crazy, but this is one of those kind of flag plants that you got to go with in week 1. He's going to be 2% owned or less. I mean, he's literally, no one's playing him. He's the same price as Sammy Watkins. I think he's a much better football player. So anyways, and they kind of like switch teams, right? Well, yeah, they did. So anyways, that's my crazy take. That's like the hot fire right off the bat. I know you guys will hate it, but I'll let that sink in. Other plays that I'm playing. I like to play Jefferson and Chase in the same lineup. Not for the stupid, like romantic, like LSU connection, whatever. I love both of their spots, man. Pittsburgh has a brutal old guy secondary that he's going to absolutely torch. Kelly Witherspoon is like a slow hip, skinny, 6'2" guy. It's so bad. Their secondary is so bad, and their O-line got better. I know that T. Higgins is a thing. I get that. He was missing from camp for a few weeks. Chase has been there the whole time, just building on that chemistry. I love Chase, love Jefferson. Of Jefferson's 17 touchdowns, 16 of them have been indoors. It's a thing. I don't know what it is. Again, I want to unlock that O'Connell upside that he did for Cooper Kupp, just getting him open constantly. I'm happy to play Jefferson and Chase in the same lineup. I do like Mike Williams for a lot of reasons. I think that Renfro run backs are in play this week. I got a lot of. I know I love Renfro, and then the last couple guys that I'm actually playing, I'm putting some chips on Bateman. I mean, I think Bateman's a legit talent. Obviously with Marquise, Brown, with Hollywood Brown out, I think that it's Bateman's show now. For sure, like Bateman. Christian Kirk, I agree. I think was it Sam or Ben that said Christian Kirk? I like the Christian Kirk play. I want to buy on Trevor Lawrence, kind of getting better this year. I would have been playing a lot of Rondale and Tony as well, but it's just really gross with the percentages right now that we're seeing. And I'm not playing Pittman, by the way. I'm just not. I'm high on him like everyone else is for the year. This is a run first offense. They're going to be leading by 1 million points probably against Houston. I'm just going to fade the nasty ownership and hope he doesn't score twice or something.
Wait, Ben, before you go, I got a zig when they zag. What are your thoughts on Devontae Parker at $4,800?
Okay, well,
I don't.
Keep in mind, I said 4,800 for a reason. Like that
it's right in that same range.
But I love
man.
MVS. But I love MVS for $100 less. It's just way better.
No, I know, but MVS is bad. Like Devontae Parker actually.
No, I'm on
though.
the camp. I think Marquez Valdes-Scantling is a good wide receiver, and I said that when he was in Green Bay. I'm on the team.
I need to go to PFF. Maybe I just think he is. I need to go to PFF and look at his drop rate. It has to be one of the highest.
Dude, because you're going to drop on deep passes. You're running as fast as you can at 6'4", 220 pounds.
They didn't
And then you
use
got
him,
Patrick
bro.
Mahomes
Like
sprinting.
to Matt's point, they really didn't use him. Like they were just like, here, you're gonna move the DBs back so we can just pepper Devontae. But like they really didn't use him like they should have. Like I actually think he is good.
And he balled out when Devontae sat again. But by the way, he did. He balled out with like a full route tree, but no one seemed to care. It happened like twice. You'll see.
No, I mean I can tell you, I definitely didn't care. No, I'm one of those people. I mean, his ceiling is insane. It seems.
I think it's a good play.
Seems like an interesting.
I think him and Sammy are better. Both. If Lazard's out, I think him and Sammy are both better than plays than Rondale. Rondale just seems super thin to me. I don't know why, but I feel like if there's anyone that, injury stuff aside, if there's anyone that could just get pulled off, I know Arizona plays a lot of 4 wide receiver sets, whatever. If there's anyone that could just get pulled off the field, it's him. Like at least Tony, I know is like he's playing for sure. Like Rondale's gonna play, and I know Cliff has said like, oh, he's our new slot receiver, like blah blah blah. But I mean, they have other guys, and if he just like sucks, like I could see them. They're like, oh, we'll just throw Isabella in there. Oh, we'll just throw Greg Dortch in there. Like whatever. Like there's so many dudes in the fold.
Right.
He just seems thin to me.
Nah, I don't know, man. We'll see. The injury is the only thing holding me back. Injury and ownership. I think he takes over the Christian Kirk role and the Chase Edmonds role. They're talking about backfield looks. He's a shifty, fast guy. I mean, I don't know. I especially if no Ertz, dude. I mean, you're going to rely on McBride. I mean, a rookie in his first game ever. But I mean, if he's healthy, I could, man, but the ownership is so gross. I'm really 20% like highest owned receiver. That would be nuts.
Yeah, it's one thing if you were saying
The
like
amount of
I like
respect I've
Rondale
heard
at
from
low
Matt on this
ownership, but
pod,
he's not.
the amount of
That's
respect
What
I've
about
heard from
Dotson?
Matt on this pod to Zach Ertz is actually insane. What I heard before my internet went out the first time was that one of the reasons the KC line moved was Zach Ertz being out, which I thought
No, I
was
said they're
hilarious.
defensive guys first. Defensive guys first.
Okay, I'm talking about a 2.5 point movement. Zach Ertz, when's the last time he broke a tackle? Like 2015? Like, I don't think he really matters. And then JJ Watt, is JJ Watt officially out, or is he like questionable?
He's super questionable. He's got a calf strain, dude. Like all you do is drive off your calves as a D lineman. I mean, and he didn't practice. He didn't practice all week. So, what do you guys think about Jahan Dotson, man?
So in.
Are you?
I'm a big Jahan Dotson fan. So I like just
the reason I like him honestly is partially because Wentz is so bad that like he can't really throw the ball that well. But like I think that I mean I'm also this is very much price dependent. But I mean he's so cheap that I don't think he really needs to do a lot. Now I will say I've been caught in this trap years ago. I've been trying to get better at it, but it's like, okay, just because he's 3,000, if you're playing in tournaments, you don't want to play him like, oh, well, if he gets 7, that's fine. That doesn't win you anything. But I think he's fine. I mean, honestly, I thought he was going to be maybe a little owned if Tony was out. I mean, I think Wan'Dale Robinson, you guys are making fun of me the other day, but like Stone Min, like there are routes to Wan'Dale Robinson, like paying off like 4x.
What if Lazard sits? It's Romeo Doubs, it's Dotson, it's Wan'Dale.
I'll play Dobbs if
I would play Wan'Dale. I cannot play Wan'Dale. There's just no way. First of all, he's like, I'm curious to see what they do, because first of all, Shepard wasn't supposed to play, and now he's going to play apparently. So I don't know what they're like. There's no way Wan'Dale doesn't play in the slot, right? I mean, he's like 5'4". Like he cannot play outside. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm out. No way. I think like I would rather play Tony if I was gonna play a Giants guy. But
only the flyer I thought could be interesting in the Zay Jones role would be Mac Hollins if you want like a super punt.
I was not prepared for that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude,
that's fine. That's fine. So on Sunday when he scores, I'll expect a text. Now I won't play him, and I won't capitalize on it. But he will probably score.
We're moving on to tight end when Sam's bringing up Mac Hollins. I can tell you that right now. All right, tight end.
He might be better than MVS.
That sounds fake to me. I don't.
All right, let's do a bet. MVS versus Mac Hollins week 1.
Oh, infinite. How much you want? Infinite. Literally infinity bankroll.
That's a 5-unit max play for.
They're both like their floor is both very much 0. Like they're starting. I mean, like MVS. Like I'm not saying you're Matt. You know a lot of, but we're talking as if MVS is like a wide receiver 1. Like I don't know what we're talking about. He still loves dropping.
Wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
He's a starting outside wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm just saying, dude. When I'm not saying my Matt Collins call is good, but when Devontae's doubled and he still gets 1,300 catches, Matt Collins has to catch it. I'm just saying, dude, that one throw.
Matt's net worth is probably higher than Matt Collins, and I'm not even trolling. Like, and this guy's trying to compare him to Marcus.
I'll be totally honest. It's probably maybe. It's a maybe. Yeah, it's a maybe. Matt Collins is probably not very wealthy.
Come on.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, so tight end.
Matt, why are we talking? I mean, Matt, why are we talking about your obsession with Matt Collins? Move on to tight end.
We're going to tight end. I like to save money at tight end in cash games, so I'll be looking for cheap guys for tournaments. I like Kyle Pitts. I like Darren Waller. I really don't like Darren Waller. I want to play him, but 5,400 is reasonable, I think, on DraftKings. Dallas Goedert at 45. I like, and I like a few guys in that 3K range. Matt, I'll let you start here. I don't know. You like Andrews because you like Lamar for like a tournament, or like what are you doing at tight end?
I'll have I won't have much Andrews. I'll have like 2%.
You're not gonna have a lot of the best tight end on the slate.
No. Nope. I quite literally, I think I'm gonna have for any sort of legitimate percentage of my volume in play, I'm gonna have 3 tight ends.
Mark Andrews might outscore MVS too.
Well, that's projectable and likely. Yeah, that's very likely he does. But
now you're coming off
he's
of him,
also like,
BSG.
well, he's 2K more, and he's an unreal talent at tight end, like whatever. But
said
I'm
he
gonna
was
have three
terrible?
tight ends, and my number one by far exposure is gonna be Dallas Goedert. I think that, I mean, number one last year in routes, yards per route run, all offseason. It's just been the Dallas Goedert show. I'm playing a lot of Hurts. I'm stacking him with Goddard. I'm not picking between Devontae Smith and AJ Brown in the new system. I love me some Arthur Juan. I will be playing him at some point this year, making money off of it. But right now I'm playing Goddard.
Arthur Juan crap has got to stop.
Arthur Juan, dude. My other two tight ends this week is actually going to be Njoku and Hooper, the reunited, Browns guys. So Austin Hooper, I mean, Tannehill, when you look at them both, Tannehill and Brissett, these guys target the tight end at top 4, top 5 rates in the league. All offseason, it's been, Tannehill to Hooper. They also have a lot of question marks at receiver. There's no true, not a true wide receiver one. You got old, dusty Robert Woods. You got Treylon Burks, a rookie, playing in his first ever game. I just like Austin Hooper for 3,700. I could see one of those nice games, maybe 6-7 catches on the upside. Maybe falls into the end zone if they're having trouble running. They probably won't have any trouble running. But Hooper for cheap builds, and then for 200 more, and Njoku just kind of building in with some lines that I have with CMC. I think that, again, Brissett's, he loves to target tight ends. They just signed Njoku to a massive contract. He's one of the highest paid tight ends in the league. He's an athletic freak. Again, a lot of question marks at receiver for Cleveland. And I think that you're buying a physically talented freak for 3,900, where he could be nearly the focal point for the passing offense.
Sam, go ahead.
Those are my three.
Hate that Matt also likes a Joker. I wanted to argue with him about another player. I don't think I need to add on to what Matt said about the studs. I agree. Goddard, I actually agree, despite him trolling. I mean, I think besides Andrews, but if you're adjusting for price, I think Goddard might be the best tight end salary considered. The only thing I was going to say, I don't think that Robert Tonyan is that good, but we talked about if Lazard is out, I definitely will play Tonyan just because.
Is he healthy?
If nothing else. I think he's. I saw he's been practicing. I don't think he's had. I don't think he's in any danger of missing. But that being said, he does seem very injury prone. I may be wrong about that, but if nothing else, I obviously I love a good narrative. I mean, at least he's been there a while. I don't really know how much, because Rodgers is such a dick. Who knows if he even trusts, Christian Watson? But that's honestly mainly if Lazard is out. The guy I actually like as a pivot, just as a game stack pivot almost, is that I love pairing Herbert with Gerald Everett and one of those receivers rather than stacking up both Big Mike and Keenan. I think Everett is I mean, God, was that last year they had Jared Cook, who I think is 100 years old?
Yeah.
Gerald Everett at least can move. And I think it's one of these situations, honestly, it's fascinating to me that he's kind of moving into a similar thing he had with the Rams, where it's kind of a crowded pass catching role. But I think Everett is an interesting option and will be low owned. And then I hate that people are talking about it, but I totally will play Irv Smith in Kirk stacks with Jefferson. I think he's interesting. I mean, Matt, I actually was going to ask you about that injury. Does anyone know? I saw he's been practicing. Is he full good to go? Does anyone I know he had that serious injury, but I don't really know if he's fully healthy.
That's funny. I have no idea. The headlines today was he was quote unquote good to go. They had to do the official first injury report today. And they said they literally said he's good to go. There's no worries there.
I mean, I think he's. I don't know. I'm not saying he's better than anyone, but I think he's probably the clear number 3. But I think he could obviously draw better coverage. The only other guy this is not because I'm playing him. The only other tight end I was going to mention is Mo Alley Cox. Actually, the only Indy tight end now. Is there not 7 tight ends in Jack Doyle?
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, he's the main guy.
Okay, I'm not saying I need to play him this week. That's just good to know that I don't have to play him and have Jack Doyle catch 2 catches for 8 yards.
Do you know he has the biggest hands in the NFL? Basically, Mo Alley Cox.
Dude, you love hand sizes.
I do, man. I do.
You must hate Kenny Pickett just based on principle alone.
I do. And by the way, Gerald Everett has literally the smallest hands of any tight end in the league.
Oh,
so if you're just going to go off the hand size metric, Yeah, HSM.
Wait,
you
Matt,
gotta go. You gotta
maybe
go
I
for
missed
your
it, and
Noel
Ben, I'm
guy.
on your. I assume the weekly as normal weeks. I mean, Kelsey's the chalk. Are you guys playing Travis Kelsey only in stacks? I think he's actually cash playable because of all the cheap options if you have the salary. But I don't know. He is
What do
the
you
age
think, Ben?
model. To quote Adam Levitan, is not great.
Mm-hmm. Ben, what's your take on Kelsey, Ben?
Yeah, I'll pass. If you're stacking the Chiefs, go for it. But I'd rather take a shot on one of the receivers. I think. I mean, it's not that I don't like Travis Kelsey, but I mean, he is projecting as the highest owned tight end. He's 6,600. I don't think it's a must.
So yeah, I agree. I'm a believer in their ability to defend the tight end, dude. Buda Baker and Jalen Thompson might be the best 1-2 punch at safety in the league.
Yeah,
And all the trends last year was that teams attack the Cardinals at receiver, not at tight end. Their success rates are much lower against a tight end versus receiver. Yards per attempt are way higher at receiver versus targeting the tight end.
and
I
now one of their
love
best DBs are
Kelsey,
out.
of course, but
You know,
yeah,
so I agree.
exactly. Yeah,
Matt,
just
you know who got
guys,
waxed. You know who got
come here,
Yeah,
come here to MVS. Come here, just come right to MVS. Come on.
I literally would rather play Matt Collins.
I
That's
don't have
my
a problem with
but
MVS, man. I liked it. I like him. I like Juju. I think I completely agree with your sentiment that Patrick Mahomes coming out and just publicly stating something that we already knew will scare people like away. Like the Sunday morning lineup builders, like they'll be
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm not playing the Chiefs because we don't know who's gonna get the ball, but we
yeah.
already didn't know. But
No one knows ever.
yeah,
Like
no one knows
that's the
anything.
whole point.
I have the two cheap guys I'm considering are Njoku, which Matt touched on. I think is a really good play. I think he could lead the Browns in targets this year. I think they're going to. I think early in the game they are going to feed David Njoku on Sunday. So I think that's a great
I
call.
like it.
You guys don't like him, but I like Brevin Jordan at 3,100 for like a punt.
I know.
Brevin Jordan's going to score a
I already
touchdown this
mouthed
week.
you were gonna say Brevin Jordan.
He's going to score a
Oh, I know.
touchdown.
I'm
So
so done with these
um,
cheap tight ends,
yeah,
dude. I just
he's going to score a touchdown. But
I
and
don't
then
hate it. I don't hate it.
yeah, I don't know. I'm looking to save money
That's
at
fine. He'll
3,000.
score a touchdown and he'll score a touchdown and he'll
Score
end
seven
with
DraftKings points.
7.1 points. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Dude, that's like the Jack Doyle special.
Yeah,
He scores
it
13
is.
points on two
I
catches.
don't hate
Yeah.
the Mo Alley call, right? 34. You could talk me
Yeah,
into that,
that's not
especially
horrible.
if you're not playing
Sick
Pittman.
name.
If you're not playing Pittman, I think it makes sense, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we wrapped the position wise pretty well. Before we head out of here, we're gonna just talk stacks / roster construction. I think for me, I mean, you guys know I don't play a ton of teams, usually like 2 or 3. I think for cash though, I think as of right now, I haven't made any teams. I'm leaning 4 receivers though, I think, and then maybe like Barkley and McCaffrey at running back. But we'll see if my opinion changes. I haven't written any content, anything either, but we'll see if I change. But I think I'm leaning 4 receivers for cash, and then stack wise for like my second, third lineup. I like the Kirk Cousins. I'm gonna play Jefferson in cash. I already know, like that's a slam dunk. But I like the Kirk. I
Let's
like the
go.
Kirk Cousins stack, and I like maybe like a Hurts or a Lamar. I might do something with that. But Sam, how are you? Just what's your thoughts, like roster construction / stacks that you like?
I like obviously the Minnesota one too. I do like playing. I mean, I normally play like 5 teams or so. If I was playing like 10, I would probably do honestly a Minnesota stack, one with AJ Dillon, one with Aaron Jones. But I like that. I like the Charger stack like everyone else will, but I like stacking it like I was saying a different way with like Everett. And honestly, I'm a little curious. I'm not sure what it'll shake out. It seems like Keenan should be the higher owned one, but then Big Mike is kind of getting this buzz. So whichever one's gonna be lower owned, I'd probably take. And then the other stack I like, which I don't know, I mean nothing will be low owned, but I just think taking just different pieces of these chalkier games, I think will be the route I go. I mean, it's easier now in KC. I mean, everyone always wanted to stack, Mahomes, Ty Scum, and Kelsey, but I think stacking them or, I know it's not great. The floor is very low, but stacking like the Saints and then running it back with like Kyle Pitts, I think could be interesting. But always be prepared for Jameis to go full Jameis. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can't stress that enough. You have to live with it. Just part of the game. All right, Matt, tell us about
Yeah.
the MVS stack.
Yeah, I mean, I just to capitalize on it, I will be doing it. I mean, dude, KC almost has a 30-point team total, highest of the slate. This is one of the easiest matchups they're gonna have all year in perfect conditions. I think going with Mahomes, Juju, and MVS, and kind of playing that idea, avoiding the really popular tight end play in Travis Kelce and just playing the new outside guys is a good idea. If we get Ronnie Stanley back, which is a huge deal for the Ravens, I do like Lamar and Bateman. I just think, I mean, that pairing was together all offseason, man. Like there's so much tape about them just practicing together all day. Like I just think it could be a real thing, Lamar to Bateman all year. So again, I want to try to be a little bit early on that. And Bateman's the number one receiver for 5,300. And then, yeah, I mean, those are my main stacks. We talked about Minnesota. We talked about a little bit of a Burrow sprinkle. But yeah, I mean, my defining thing, I think, is that looking towards 4 receivers, looking towards jamming in both Jefferson and Chase. Chase, I think, and Jefferson could just absolutely explode.
Yeah, I think we covered it pretty well. If you guys have watched this long, you've stuck through Sam's internet issues, Matt's flag plan of
Thank you.
MVS. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We will be posting these videos every single week, and we appreciate it. Head over to dfscomer.com, access to our core plays. You'll get access to mine, Sam's, Matt's, AC, who's not on here, and then we have some new analysts as well that'll be dropping core plays this season. But with that being said, good luck in week 1. Hopefully we'll see you guys on the Sunday morning stream. You can join us live 11 a.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And good luck in week 1.